Hey, what's up everybody? Jason here. Thanks for checking out the channel today. So I'm going to show you how to build a floating menu with bubbles. So you've probably seen sites like this where they might have a video background or a color background, and all the menu options are up at the top, and as you scroll through the page, it sticks to the top, but it changes the background color so you can still see it. And then when you scroll back up to the top, it goes back to the normal view. So basically it's just setting this div as transparent, and you can see the background coming through, and then as you scroll, it sets it to a color. It is very easy to build this with bubbles, so let's take a look. For this site, I'm going to use this really ugly page that I've been using for all my tutorials, and I just put a bunch of filler text in here so the page will scroll. So to do this, you're going to use Bubbles' floating group element. Wherever you place it on the page, it doesn't matter. It's always going to put it up at the top here. And we do not want this to be fixed width. We don't want a max width because we want it to go across the entire page. And I'm going to set the fixed height to be 75. And I'm also going to set this to row because I want the buttons to go across in a horizontal way. There's a couple of options you have here. You can float to the top, the bottom, both, or nothing. So depending on where you want your menu positioned and whether or not you want it full screen, choose the right option for you. And I want to float this relative to, in my case, it doesn't matter. I could pick any of these because I'm going to have a full screen floating element that's going to be the full width. So let me just change the background color of this so we can see what this looks like on the site. So here's my menu. You can see it's blocking part of the top up here. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is to go to your first object here and set the your margin for your first element to be either the height of your menu or maybe a little bit more. So I've set my fixed height to 75. I'm going to set my top margin to 85, so it gives a little bit of space between the menu and the first object on the page. So now everything is going to show up properly. So it's going to stick to the page as I scroll, but I want to keep the gray background and then just change the color of it as I'm scrolling down the page. So first I'll add some buttons to it. I want these buttons to be vertically aligned in the middle. And let's just put a bunch of different buttons up there. And now I want the background to be transparent because I want to reuse that same gray background. So here's how it looks, but again, if you're scrolling, the buttons are going to stick there, but then now it just kind of looks ugly because there's no other background. So to change this on the fly, we're going to highlight the floating group that we created. We're going to create a condition on when the current page scrolling position is greater than a certain number. So I'm just going to argue and put 600 pixels in here. So I'm going to change the background style. I want it to be a flat color. And I want the color to be, let's just say this dark red color, because who doesn't like big, ugly red menus, right? So if I go back to the page now and I start scrolling, there, see it's changing the background color so it sticks up at the top. Now it is a bit jarring to do this, so another little trick for doing this is in your appearance tab on your floating group, you want to set a transition for the background. So I want the background style. I'm just going to use ease. You could use whichever one of these that you want. You can set the duration. I'm going to maximize this duration so it's a little more obvious when you do it, and this will give you a nice transition between the transparent background color of the menu and the real one. There, so you can see it faded in nicely and it faded out nicely. And that's it. Really, really simple to do this. You can use this on the left side, the right side, for any floating group basically, and that will get you one of those cool menus, especially if you're using videos or big gradients or stuff like that in the background of your hero. So hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.